Well, welcome to Aussie Wedding TV. Today I'm with Tim Coe from
Hello.
TKO Weddings. Hello, Tim.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Now, Tim's the expert in videography, and I know you brides getting out there, or brides and grooms that are getting ready for your wedding. A lot of people really don't know where to start with videography, whether they actually need it or not. And the problem is, Tim, probably like you hate being put on this side of the camera.
Yeah.
Most people really don't like being put in front of a camera.
No.
So that's a bit of a problem. So if you've got someone that feels really uncomfortable in front of a camera, what are you going to do to make them feel a bit at ease?
Well, a lot of videographers these days, it's a candid sort of style. So when our approach, most videographers' approach is, I guess you could say, a fly on the wall. So they don't like to be in your face, and that sort of puts a couple at ease in a way. So knowing that they're not going to be on camera.
Yeah.
But the main worry for some couples is, that I've noticed, is them hearing their own voice.
Yeah.
Because what I've heard a lot is, I don't like the sound of my own voice, and I'm one of them. But
Me too.
when it's the vowels of the speeches, it doesn't really make a difference. Like, you shouldn't hate your own voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because it's your vowels.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
I think that's different, because when you're in the middle of the ceremony, I think you're so oblivious to everything that's going on a wedding day, that it's kind of like, I say brides suffer from bride amnesia, because it's like on a wedding day, it's like it's surreal. But I think when you're just chatting to people, and generally people really dislike hearing their own voice.
Yeah.
So if someone feels like that about their own voice, and maybe that's the reason why they don't want to have their wedding video, can you suggest anything there?
Yeah, well, these days, there's a lot of highlights online, wedding highlights, and if the couple, let's say, doesn't like their own voice, the video can be just on all music without their voice.
Okay.
If they want. So that way they're comfortable watching their own wedding without hearing the voice. And
good idea.
the only video that they will hear their own voice is the long version, which is where they say their vows and their speeches.
Okay.
And that's
So you record their audio during the day, so you've actually got the sounds of their voices, but you just don't give it to them when you edit the highlight reel.
Exactly.
So if you spend all day with a couple and they get a highlight reel, how long might that go for?
It depends on the actual videographer. Sorry. Some highlights may go for about 3-4 minutes.
So that's maybe about one song.
Yeah. And for me, it's a perfect length, because you got to keep the audience engaged for a certain amount of time, and 4 minutes is 4 to 5 minutes is a good time. Whereas if you can keep an audience engaged for about 10-12 minutes, then why not? But the easiest way is a 5-minute length highlight,
And a real cool song.
Yeah, exactly.
And who picks the song?
It varies. Some videographers get the couple to pick the song because it's their video. Others will choose the song for the couple, so it complements the video rather than them editing around the song.
Yep.
The song should actually complement their film, their story.
Okay.
So
if a couple comes to you with a song that they love and you just really don't think it's going to work, would you have a chat to them and maybe give them some other suggestions?
Yeah, I'll have a chat to them. I'll say, I'll give my honest opinion. I guess, to be honest, the song probably doesn't work for how the feel of the day of the wedding went. But if they really want that song,
you'll
then
try and make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, also, I think there's a lot of confusion these days between videography and cinematography. There seems to be, I think I even get a little bit confused about the two.
Yeah.
How can you sort of simply explain to everyone out there what's the difference between the two?
Basically, in a nutshell, videography is a documentary style.
Okay.
The main focus, I guess you could say, is simply just to capture the day, just to document the day. Cinematography goes a bit further than that. You worry about lighting, you worry about angles, you worry about shadows, and more importantly, above all that, you worry about the storytelling.
So would you maybe say that videography is more a bit like, how someone might just video something and then they might sit and watch it when, once a year when the family are over. But cinematography is a bit more like a movie?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So it's a bit more like movie making.
That's exactly
so
it, yeah.
It's a bit more glamorous and...
It's, in a way it's more glamorous, but in my opinion the focus is the couple. The focus is their story.
Okay.
So if a couple does decide to go for the cinematography approach, they'll actually get to share the story with whoever's recording the day.
Okay.
And then the person that's recording the day, they'll understand it. They'll use their story as what do you call it? Storyline?
Yeah, or storyboard.
Yeah, storyboard.
I guess, storyboarding. That's sort of, in photography we use storyboarding, I get that. And price-wise, is there a big difference between videography and cinematography, do you think?
Yes.
Yes, so are you talking it could be like twice as much, or because it's twice as much work?
Videography is a very simple approach. Cinematography, there's always going to be more shooters on the day, whether it be whether it be 2 or 3 shooters.
Okay, so for cinematography, there's always got to be a minimum of 2 cameras?
Minimum 2 cameras,
preferable 3
3
maybe?
shooters, yeah.
And what about videography? Can that be handled by 1 shooter?
Yes, it
Okay.
can be, yeah.
Okay. Now, also, I think what really confuses people out there, I know, because if I'm out shooting a wedding and I've got, a camera very much like your camera, people think that the camera you use now, you're just taking photos with, and they don't get that it's video. So you want to show your camera.
Yeah.
Now, this is what a lot of photographers are using these days because, digital photography. Now, Tim, when I met Tim many years ago, he used to use the big camera that was about half the size of him, the big one on the shoulder. Now, sometimes I still see people using them today, but generally, this is what you're using. Why?
In my opinion, it does a better job than the actual video cameras, and because it's so small, it allows us to get into places that, let's say if it's a really small ceremony, this camera on a monopod will capture the whole thing perfectly.
So less obtrusive?
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want guests at a wedding to have to see the cameraman, because with a big camera they're gonna be noticeable.
Yeah.
Whereas something like this, you sort of blend in with the crowd.
Yeah, I think too. Sometimes you get the videographer when the bride's walking down the aisle, kind of in front of the bride and groom a little bit. With those big cameras, pretty well no one could even see them walk in.
Yeah.
And also, I think the quality of these cameras is it more superior?
Yeah, it's more filmic, more film-like, in a way that it does give you that film look when you do watch it.
Yeah. Looks more professional, do you think, in a sense?
It does, absolutely.
Yeah, and also I noticed with you've got this the big microphone on top. Now, is that really important for good audio sound?
Very important. Especially during, let's say for instance, the couple are receiving a letter during the gift exchange, and we're recorded like that. If we didn't have this, this camera would be able to hear me breathing. But because the camera's the mic's facing you, we just hear what you're saying, and it's much clearer.
Okay,
Yeah.
There you go. I just learned something that I didn't know. and what if a couple doesn't want to be filmed, like getting ready in the morning, and they just want small sections of the day done? With videography and cinematography, do you have the choice? Can couples just have small packages of maybe just a ceremony, or do they have to have it shot all day? What's the general vibe?
With the videography, generally, couples that just want the ceremony and the speeches and the first dance recorded, they'll go for the videography approach, just a documentary approach. As far as cinematography, because you need a lot of content to tell the story. So preparations, if the bride gets ready at her home, there's already a bit of history there. So you can tell the story of let's say the bride grew up. You involve the father, you involve anyone that was a part of their relationship, of their journey.
Yeah, nice.
And it adds more meaning, more content to the film.
I've seen some really funny stuff at weddings too, where you've got couples that have got together with you before the wedding day and done like a funny comedy skit. You've done quite a bit of that, haven't you?
Yeah. Generally, the most popular culture that love doing that are Middle Eastern and European. They just love, especially the grooms. They love.
I think they like being seen as an actor.
They love the whole. I'm getting ready. Let's say I'm doing something, and the groomsmen just whip them away carry them away,
Yeah.
and then just chuck them into a room and get ready. They just love that.
So do they come to you with an idea, like a script, and say, I've got this great idea, then you work with them, and then you might perhaps spend a day filming it and editing it, and that's obviously on top of a standard wedding package, but that is something that...
Yeah, it is. And generally, what they like to do is, at the preparations, during preparations, they'll have something in mind, I'll have something in mind, and we'll just bounce ideas off each other throughout the day.
Yeah.
And if they do go for the shoot prior to the wedding, the pre-wedding shoot, it's more so, it's a story about how they actually got together.
Yeah.
And it depends on the couple. If they wanted to make it a comedy, then by all means, they want to make it
more romantic and dramatic.
It's up to the couple,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So do you think it's important as a videographer, like, to meet with the couple before the wedding day? Do you feel like you need to have sat down with them to know about them, or have you done weddings where you've just turned up on the day and not met them?
When I first started, I did meet couples. I didn't meet couples, I met them on the day. And as I got to learn more about videography and the wedding industry, I realised how important it was that first meet. So that way they know me, I know them, and more importantly, if they're comfortable with me during the first meet, they know that me on the wedding day, it's just going to be really, really easy.
You know, I think it's a lot of matter of trust on your wedding day. You've got to feel really comfortable with who's going to be at your wedding.